Hi guys, hope you're well. Hope you had a good week, and more importantly, I hope you're all ready to have your first crack at the first open workout this year. Okay, now obviously, I'm sure you've probably all seen the workout by now. It's a little bit unusual. Obviously, the new movement of the wall climb, not necessarily what people were anticipating for the first kind of open workout. All right, but nevertheless, it's still a good challenge, and it's definitely not one that you need to underestimate. Okay, so obviously the workout itself is an ascending ladder of wall climbs and double unders. Okay, you've got a 15-minute time cap on the whole thing, and it's a little bit different in the sense of, the limiting factor on this workout isn't going to be, your heart rate or your breathing. It's definitely going to be the muscular endurance in your shoulders. Okay, but we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. All right, obviously, before you do the workout, make sure you familiarize yourself with the standards, especially for the wall climbs. Okay, obviously, with there being a new movement, there's a new set of standards that's never really been used before. All right, so it's really important that you familiarize yourself with those. Okay, there's a couple of little things in there that you just want to make sure. All right, and then also a couple of things that are worth knowing so that you can use them to your advantage a little bit through the workout. Okay, so obviously with that, first thing you need to make sure is that you've got your tape marked out on the floor. Okay, so you need a line of tape around in line with your shoulders, all right, when your feet are laid back against the wall. Okay, and then you need another line of tape 10 inches from the wall, which is obviously where your feet need to be. Okay, obviously you want to make sure you start each rep, all right, with any part of your hand on that front line. Okay, so it can be your fingertips, that's fine. All right, and obviously your feet are going to be behind the tape line behind you. Okay, you're not allowed to move your hands off that line until your both feet are on the wall. Okay, so that will take a little bit of thinking about at first. All right, so when you're warming up, okay, have a good go. Speak to your judge, or if you've got someone watching you, speak to them and get them to tell you when you do it. All right, for some of you it might be natural. Others you might need to just tweak your technique a little bit. Okay, once you walk up, you're going to have to walk all the way up. Okay, again, until any part of your hand touches the tape line at the back. All right, so for some of you, again, you may be closer to the wall than others, just depending on how long your arms are. Okay, and then as you walk back down, you're going to have to leave both feet on the wall until you get your hands back onto that tape line. Okay, and obviously double unders are double unders. All right, everyone kind of knows the standard for those. All right, so just make sure you're aware of those. Like I say, have a play around with them before you start, and make sure that you're comfortable with that movement standard. Okay, before you do the workout, obviously it's important that you do a good warm up. All right, so for this one, a lot of the focus, like I say, is going to be on your shoulders. All right, so you'll want to start off making sure that you've mobilized your shoulders, your lats, that whole overhead position. Okay, so that you're moving as efficiently as possible through the workout, and then you're going to do a more movement specific warm up. Okay, so for the first part of this, you're going to do 2 to 3 sets. All right, you're going to do your banded internal, external rotations. Okay, just to start to warm up your shoulder joint. All right, you're also going to do your band W to presses. Okay, you're going to go onto your ankle around the worlds, and then you're going to do your bear plank, shoulder and thigh taps. Okay, you want to work through those. That's really going to make sure that your shoulders are nice and warm. All right, your core is active. You spent time on your hands. Okay, just warming up. Similar kind of movement patterns to what you do for the wall climbs. Okay, and then as well, obviously making sure your ankles are nice and mobile for your double unders. Okay, obviously that overhead position is important, because what you don't want to be doing is, when you're doing your wall climbs, if you're tight overhead, all right, really arching your back, it's going to put a lot more pressure on your lower back than you need to, and make it a little bit uncomfortable, especially for the volume of reps that you're going to be doing in the workout. Okay, from there, obviously then we want to start to get your heart rate up. Okay, this is going to depend a little bit on what equipment you have available to you. Okay, so if you've got a ski erg, then I just want you to work through 3 sets. Okay, just to start off, 150 meter easy ski. All right, 50 single unders, and then just a single wall climb. Okay, and just focus on that movement standards. All right, rest completely between rounds, let yourself fully recover. We don't want to carry any kind of fatigue into the workout. Okay, from there, you're going to do another 2 to 3 sets. All right, you're going to go again, ski, but faster pace this time. Okay, then you're going to go into double unders. All right, so again, kind of workout pace, and then into a wall climb, and again, then fully rest. All right, let yourself recover before you do the next round. We don't want to get you too fatigued too soon. Okay, if you don't have access to a ski erg, all right, then swap out the ski erg for 10 burpees. Okay, again, it's just going to help warm up the same muscle group, just going to get your heart rate elevated. All right, but again, don't fatigue yourself too much on those burpees, and have a full rest in between rounds. Okay, when it comes to the workout itself, what you'll find, the first So the round of obviously 1, 3, and 6, they're relatively straightforward. All right, especially the 1 and 3, you'll get through those. You won't really feel like you're accumulating much fatigue. Okay, it's the round of 9 where that fatigue really kicks in. Okay, obviously by then you've accumulated a fair few wall climbs and double unders. Again, all just really targeting that shoulder fatigue. Up to that point, you probably find that your heart rate doesn't really elevate too much, and you can be quite consistent with your breathing. All right, which is important on the wall climbs. Okay, it's once you get to the round of 9s where that cumulative fatigue starts to take its toll, and that's where you're going to feel it. Okay, so in terms of how you might break it up to that point, it's important that you're consistent, all right, but you don't necessarily need to slow yourself down too much, all right, because the workout, obviously each round is going to take longer and longer as you progress into it, so you don't want to make sure that you're giving yourself as much time as possible. All right, so I'd say wall climbs, move through consistent pace. Double unders, I'd say obviously the round of 10, the round of 30, aim to get through those unbroken. All right, obviously depending on how your double unders are. For the round of 60, that might be when you want to start to break your double unders. So go and say 40-20 just to give yourself a little bit more of a breather before you go into the 9 wall climbs. It'll just help your shoulders recover a little bit. If you are taking those tactical breaks, then be disciplined. Okay, just take 5-10 seconds, enough just to let your shoulders relax a little bit, and then carry on, finish off the set. Okay, and that's going to be the continual theme for your double unders through the rest of the workout. Once you get into the 90s and 150s, again, you want to do reasonable size sets, between 40 and 60 reps at a time, if that's manageable for you, and then have a short rest and then go again. And that's just going to help manage your shoulder fatigue. Okay, if you're a little bit less consistent with your double unders, then you might want to break it into sets where you kind of go in by feel. And obviously, if you're not tripping, then keep going up to that kind of point, okay? But if you do feel like your shoulders are starting to burn out, then that's a good time just to take 5 seconds, break it into a smaller set, and then go. Like I say, with the double unders, it's not a case of letting it's not going to take long for your shoulders to recover completely. So be disciplined with that rest period, and try and keep moving as much as you can, all right? For the wall climbs, it's a little bit different. What you want to try and do when you get into the 6, 9, 15, and then obviously, hopefully the round of 21 as well, you're going to have to be a little bit more deliberate with your pacing strategy, okay? It's easy to fly through the first few reps, all right? But you want to think about, similar to when you might do, say, a strict handstand push-up, you don't want to hit a wall where your shoulders and triceps are just completely blown out, because it'll come back and bite you later on in the workout, okay? So it's important when you're doing the wall climbs that you get into a good tempo, all right? So that might be that you do the rep, you walk down at the bottom, you take a deliberate 2 breaths, okay, 2 deep breaths, because your breathing isn't going to be that taxed, and then you go into the next rep, okay. Let's just say it's the round of 15. You might do that for 5, then after 5 you might have a longer break, all right. Come up onto your knees, shake your arms off, okay, and then go again and do another 5, and then repeat that again, okay. So it's important on your wall climbs to be quite methodical, all right, so that A, you don't burn out, but B as well, because you're on the floor, it's easy to take a longer rest than you need to, okay, which is why counting your breaths, or if you can see the clock, look at the clock, it's just going to help keep you to a schedule that's going to help you manage the fatigue, all right, in your shoulders, but equally not going to leave you spending too long down on the floor, okay. When you are resting on the floor, try not to rest in that push-up position, because you're still going to keep some tension through your shoulders and triceps, okay? So when you're on the floor, lay fully on your chest, take your hands up by your side so you can relax your hands and your arms, and then go back into that next rep, okay? That's just going to save you just a little bit of fatigue, which is going to help over the course of the workout, all right? When you're doing the wall climbs, again, obviously, like I said about those movement standards, it's going to be coming down that you probably find is where you accumulate the fatigue, just because obviously, like with anything, the eccentric phase is when you need that bit more control, and because you're going to be wary of your feet on the wall, again, that's going to make an impact, okay? So what you want to try and do when you come down, obviously on the way up, naturally you tend to take little steps. On the way down, try and take much bigger steps, okay? So take 1 or 2 big steps forward, get your fingers to the line as quickly as you can so that you can let your feet slide down the wall, okay? You don't want to be spending any more time upside down than you need to, because it's just that time under tension over the course of the workout that's going to catch you out, okay? So make sure, obviously, hit the back line, then take 1 or 2 big steps, get your feet over the front line, and then let your feet relax. Rest your chest on the floor, lift your hands up, take your breaths, and then go again, okay? And it's that kind of methodical approach that's going to get you through as far into the workout as possible, and hopefully getting it finished, okay? And it is just a case of managing that shoulder fatigue, all right? Obviously, then on the way up, make sure that you've got your feet on the wall before you start to push away with your hands, all right? And then again, you might take little smaller steps just because, you know, it's a little bit harder. You've not got that forward momentum to help you get back down, all right? But you really want to focus on get your hands back onto that line as fast as you possibly can. As soon as you touch it, reverse, start coming down again, just to minimize that time under tension, okay? So it's a good workout. Don't underestimate it, all right? It does get tough, particularly on your shoulders.